We're still muted, man. You can't jam while you're muted.
I can totally jam. How's it going, sports gamers? Welcome to the first ever episode 8 of the SGO Press Pass. Mike Straw, managing editor, sportsgamersonline.com, here with lead writer, golf insider, whatever we talk about, the insider of whatever our main topic of a week is, Jake Jacobson. Jake, how you doing on this Wednesday? We're back on Wednesday nights this week.
Mike, I've moved a centimeter and my camera has immediately lost focus, which usually happens when we're not recording live, but I feel way more self-conscious about it now that we're live on the internet. Knockout City, man on the floor, man on the streets, Jake Jacobson here. Happy to be here for the first ever 7th episode of the SGO Press Pass. Man. All right, here. Go back to the countdown. Let's just start this one over.
No,
we'll edit it in post. It's fine.
No, this isn't even, I'm not doing any post editing. This is going straight up. People can see
now
us.
We do that.
All now right, we do it
see.
This week.
I see.
Guys, yes, you're seeing us in video. Yes, we're doing this live on Wednesday nights. Yes, it will still be up tomorrow morning on Anchor. You can like us at sportsgamersonline.com/podcast. Subscribe to us there. Help us grow. Leave a like on this video, which helps our reach grow here on Sports Gamers Online. If you're not already, subscribe and be notified whenever a new video goes live. We have a big show this week, and this is also a test run to see if we go live every week. If you guys want us to keep doing this live every Wednesday night, because Wednesdays seem to be our vibing night, every Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Let us know. Leave a comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Go visit our website, sportsgamersonline.com. And also, before we get into the news here, let us remind you that SGO Press Pass is brought to you by SGO Insider, Sports Gamers Online's premium subscription service, where you get exclusive early access to news anyone can't give you. From last week, when we broke the news that went up to our main free site today, or a couple days ago, yesterday, on the future hopes for WWE for WWE 2K series, some news that went up yesterday on Insider. A main topic for today, ESPN's future in video games. We got some news on that, and I got some more details to break on that. Also, I was going to put this up on Insider, but we're going to talk about NFL 2K delay. I have some information on to what happened with that, why it ended up being delayed, and what 2K's plans are with that, and what the NFL wants to see with that. So that we're going to be getting into. So be sure to share this video. Some great stuff coming today. We have a lot to talk about. And Jake, before we get into all that, what have you been playing this week? And everybody in the chat, let us know. What have you been playing this week? We want to open up to you. The beginning of our shows, if you've never caught us, we talk about what we've been playing over the past week. So let us know in the chat what games you've been playing. Jake, though, I want to hear from you. What have you been playing?
So if you've been listening to the podcast, you know I've been playing through the Mass Effect trilogy again. I started to earlier this week. I'm not going to go on about this too much because this is a sports game podcast. But I forgot how much harder the combat in Mass Effect 2 is actual gun combat, and I'm really bad at it. So I've got to remember how to play the game. But I
haven't even gotten through Mass Effect 1 yet.
Oh, I'm why. I'm trying to slow burn the trilogy and not blow it all in 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, then you're just sitting there.
Right, yeah. In terms of like sports oriented games, I've still been playing Knockout City, which is EA's sort of out of left field
innovation. Great game.
Yeah, it's a competitive sort of arena shooter. It's a dodgeball game by way of arena shooter. And it I was thinking about this the other day. It didn't actually come out of left field. I specifically remember one of the worst trailers I've ever seen for a video game for this game, which was like a bunch of like characters that looked like they walked out of Fortnite and were like, this is how I kill time is by playing dodgeball. And I was like, this looks like the worst game I've ever seen. and I've been playing it for like 3 weeks straight. So I'm
it's
glad.
addicting. Yeah.
So really, don't judge a video game by its awful trailer, I guess. But yeah. So there was a free trial week, which was a 10-day period where anybody can download the game from Steam or Origin. It boots it through Origin either way, but it's also on the Xbox and the PlayStation, I believe, and the Switch. I think it's on every console, and it has crossplay. They've extended that free trial indefinitely, technically. So now there is a level up system that gives you rewards. You can now play Knockout City for free up to level 25 on that battle pass. So and that's all options unlocked too. So it's not like it's not like there are certain game modes and features you don't get to try. You just get to play the game until you level up to 25, which includes the ranked mode. It includes the
I completely threw you off with that.
This is some live production, folks. Thank you for bearing in with us.
Also, I don't know if anybody noticed, but my connection just took a crap while you were talking. So luckily, StreamYard runs. This show is brought to you by StreamYard. This StreamYard runs. It doesn't matter if I'm here or not, as long as one of us is in the lobby. It's going live. That helps if I crash.
Well, so you'll just have to have chat help you out on the pop quiz that I give at the end of the show. So,
I'll win.
But yeah, no. So it's a full free trial now. You can play up to level 25. That includes the ranked modes. It includes all the game modes. They've included a game mode that is the part of the game that I am the very worst at, which is there's a 1v1 mode now, and it has like a battle royale circle that closes in on you as you and this one person are trying to hit each other. And that's the situation in that game that I'm the absolute worst at, is when it's just me and another dude, and all of our teammates are somewhere else. I cannot win those situations, so it's my least favorite mode in the game. But it's a cool idea, and I'm glad they put it in. And I'm really having a good time with that game. We've been playing ranked. I've got 2 friends. We've been doing 3v3 ranked. I'm interested to see. Yes. Thank you, Lil Bus Driver. That game is also on Xbox Game Pass. If you have Xbox Game Pass, you have access to Knockout City, and you should really give it a shot. Me and 2 of my friends have been playing 3v3 ranked, and I'm excited to see I'm excited to see if there's where the skill ceiling is for this game, because I feel like I've got the techniques are pretty simple once you get the hang of them. So I'm interested to see like how much better people that are good at this game are than me. And so far the matchmaking has been pretty effective too, because we got to gold and then kind of leveled out at gold for a while, playing against people who seem like they knew as much as we did about the game. So yeah, but I've been really enjoying my time with Knockout City. I'm probably going to keep playing it. I'm hoping to have something up about it on the site soon. But yeah, that's kind of been where my time's at. So
that's something you can look forward to at sportsgamersonline.com. We did get a bunch of people still saying they're playing Madden 21. A lot of people playing MLB The Show. Will Fletcher, we are the best hosts.
Game show hosts.
Tell your friends. We will have a game show. One of these days, we're going to do a trivia show. If we continue this live thing, if you guys want this live, we're going to run with a trivia show to the point where I may even invite the viewers on the air to do the trivia.
Big dreams. I have enough sequin jackets to do that. So
I got a stick mic. I do have an old school Bob Barker stick mics in storage that I would love to pull out for one ridiculous reason. Or I could take a lapel mic and put it on a straw and then just hold it and make it look like one.
Just want to say, if you're asking questions, I believe we will be addressing those at the end of the show.
Yes,
so
questions will come up. If it involves a topic on the show, we will get to it during that topic. If it doesn't involve what we're talking about on the show, we will get to it at the end of the show during our Q&A segment. If you want a question or comment guaranteed read the second you send it, so you don't have to wait, consider donating a super chat to us. It helps us pay. It helps me pay guys like Jake. All right? If I want him to keep showing up, I need this. Exactly. Rod, who's next? Mike Straw, come on down. I am
$1, Mike.
On the Price is Right. Oh, so real quick, we'll get to the actual point of the show. We'll get to that in a minute. But the brings it up to me. You know how people always bid $1, and everybody gets so mad. I want to be the guy that bids $7. It's the same effect. If you're the last person and someone, because there's going to be no product they list that's under that. So if someone goes $5.99, Drew, and I'm last, I'm going, or I guarantee you they wouldn't even let it to air. They'd make you re-pick because of the post-production. You just go $69, Drew.
No, they've almost certainly let people say 69 on the air before, I think.
Probably, but if I know I'm doing it, if they know it, like this guy's being a troll, and that's when but
that's the $1 guy though. They let
$7. Family Guy has a good bid on it. What'd he say? $11.51. F you.
The thing is though, if you pick $7, it could be $6, right? So like, yeah, see, look at that.
There was a guy that pitching on a diamond.
I hope that's true.
Please tell me if this is real. I'll let you post the link in the chat if this is real. Find it if you can, Drew. Post. Hey, Drew. Find it if you can. Post it in the chat.
Mike. So, what have you been playing?
Other than Retromania Wrestling, it's a daily play. But I've been diving back into Escape from Tarkov, a non-sports game, from Battle State Games. It's a looter shooter, and it's
a shooter, if you will.
It's really fun. Except I'm the teammate that always gets team killed. But
so you can do that in that game.
Yes, and you don't know who your teammates are. You don't know who. No, this is all like super tactical and everything like that.
You don't know who your team. So it turns out I don't know that much about Escape from Tarkov.
Yeah, it's a game I can literally do a whole episode on, but I won't. And then I've been playing the Hunter Call of the Wild because sometimes I just want to relax and play a good hunting game with a bloodhound that tracks my shots and makes it easier to track down animals. That's kind of what I've been playing over the past week, and I've been in a relaxing mood, wanting to play games that just not really stress me out over the past week, because there's been a lot of news, not a lot of big news, but a lot of news that I've been learning. I've been talking. I've been, as they say, working the phones, and we're going to hop right into it. Topic number 1. I can't wait until I get these graphics made where I can have the topic rundown across the top of the screen for people who just tune in.
Like the ticker?
Yeah, not even that. No, but something. Yeah, we could. I mean, we could easily do this, but I want people to see our beautiful names. But I can't wait until things are in the works, guys. Things are in the works. ESPN video games. So ESPN used to have their own line of video games. There was ESPN NBA, ESPN NHL, ESPN NFL 2K. We all remember those days. Well, for the past 15 years, since 2005 when the deal was signed, I believe. Yeah, 2005 deal was signed, went into effect in 2006. ESPN has had an exclusive license with EA Sports. For a while, they were involved with some elements here or there. They were the full branding of the NCAA football series. But when that series ended for obvious reasons, that partnership ended. And they were only in NBA Live. And NBA Live, as we know, has been an up and down roller coaster of a series since the PS4, Xbox One launched. And even before that, since NBA Live 10, it's been an up and down roller coaster series. Well, that deal with ESPN and EA Sports ended. Now, there have been rumblings that they worked out an agreement and just haven't announced it. I don't know that. I wasn't told anything about an agreement being out or being set for them. But ESPN does not want to not be a part of the sports gaming market. They want to be a part of that AAA. They know they're not likely to get 2K solely because 2K has their own branding with NBA 2K. It's a lot of TNT personalities and Turner personalities that just make it easier for them over there. But ESPN is open and has kickstarted negotiations again with EA Sports to bring full broadcasts into more EA Sports titles. That means ESPN, who now is the home of UFC and starting next season, the NHL again for the first time since 2004, They want to have their broadcast package in games like UFC 5 when that comes out, in games like NHL, FIFA, and even the Madden and college football games. Now it's more likely to get into the college football game. Madden, that team at Tiburon really likes to have their own branding in place. Like that's something that ESPN over these last 15 years has been trying to like claw into, but EA has kind of been, nah, no thanks. But I think they had that right to deny and accept, obviously, as part of their agreement, whereas maybe if ESPN goes, it would be part of the new deal. But the biggest thing that comes out of this is that ESPN wants to be a part of all of these properties. Right now, the only EA Sports property that has a full, legitimate television broadcast package is their UFC property, which uses John Anik and Daniel Cormier and pretty much the same graphics as you'd see on a pay-per-view. But ESPN wants more. FIFA has their Premier League package. ESPN wants to bring in their broadcast package that they use with like the MLS and things like that. NHL, EA Sports wants to bring in NHL. They want to try and get these in for the 2022-2023 release cycle. So NHL 23, FIFA 23, Madden 23, all this stuff. Will it happen? No clue, obviously, but talks are in the very, very early stages, not in the feeler stage because they've already had a working relationship, but ESPN is serious about trying to get this done with EA Sports before going on anything else. So, Jake, with all that, and everybody in the chat, I want to know your thoughts too. What do you think of all of that just throwing information? That was first reported on SGO sportsgamersonline.com/insider.
So one of the things you mentioned was that they already have this deal with ESPN and that the folks that develop the Madden games don't like using, they like having their own like Jumbotron stuff. Not Jumbotron stuff's not the right term, but yeah, their own packaging. Their own package. Yeah. I feel like most sports games are pretty much like that, right? I feel like I can think of some of the basketball games that have like CBS or TNT, like you say, but I wonder where ESPN even fits in all of that anymore. It's interesting because like I think everybody recognizes ESPN as like the sports channel still, basically. Like obviously CBS, TNT, these networks have their own like sports channels. I just think it's interesting that like how I understand why they have to struggle so hard to get their branding into these games, because like and this is a similar point I feel like I've made about some other things. It's just like, what do you need ESPN on your sports game for? Like a scoreboard can be a scoreboard, right? And like anything can do coverage of a game. I feel like it's a hard, despite the fact that like the first thing I think of when I think of sports entertainment is still ESPN. It is a hard sell for me to want to pay extra money to put ESPN into my game when like I could hire any number of personalities, to have talk about the video game sport, right?
Agreed.
So I think I understand maybe why they're having so much trouble with this, but also why they're so interested in it. Because if they've basically been cut out of all of ESPN's games already, despite having this like deal with them, I would probably want to be back in the pie also. So
yeah, and the thing for me, and a friend of mine on Twitter, when I talked about this being part of the show this week, bro, I kind of agree with him. He said it's a win-win. I think it would be a win-win. ESPN needs to get in touch with younger audiences. What do younger audiences do? Play games. Plain and simple. They play video games. And for the games, if I'm playing a game, or if someone's playing a game and they have the ESPN score bug, they have the ESPN transitions, ESPN stat overlays that pop up, the ESPN announcers, it does add that sense of realism that some people look for. Like for me, if you follow me on Twitter, anytime a network debuts a new score bug, I am all over it. I am critiquing it. I'm saying what I love about it. I'm saying what I love the design elements of what goes into these things. So this type of stuff really I'd love to see, and I love broadcasting, presentation, and all that. But this is ESPN's way to stay relevant, I guess, with the younger audience. Is they get in front of how do you do fellow kidsing?
Do you think so though? Because like, and there's actually a lot of good comments on this.
Madden 70 brought up a good point. ESPN also has golf, another new EA game. Agreed. I'm waiting for either 2K or EA on this point real quick, Jay, to get a broadcast licensing, whether it's NBC, CBS, or EA. One of those three, I think, will be another selling point for these games as they start to compete with each other.
Well, yeah. And I feel like that's got to be like ESPN's best shot at this point, right? Is like one of EA's new sports games, like one of the ones that they're one of the non-tenured EA sports games coming up, right? Like EA Golf or as someone mentioned, like certainly that'll be back in EA College Football.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people have brought up, Fox Sports, another big one. Like ESPN is much bigger than just being a sports stat line now. I feel like what I want, if I want ESPN in the game, is every once in a while when I'm playing, I just want to hear da-na-na, da-na-na, and like that's it. But like that's really a Pavlovian thing for me. Like I don't need that for the game realism. I just think it sounds cool when that happens, or I feel cool when that sound happens.
Agreed. I mean, there's a reason high school Mike, that was my text tone when I first got my first cell phone. I was 17 and I got my first cell phone. And that was the first thing I did was find that. But I couldn't download it because it cost too much money. So I recorded it while watching SportsCenter, and then I made it that. Drew says, get Jim Nance. Hello, friends, for a golf title. Oh, my. You have no idea how awesome that would be. You just load into the master. See, this is where I think EA would do great getting, say, the CBS license. You get, hello, friends. And he comes in, and there you go. And you get that full broadcast for the Masters. And I feel like, getting the Masters, that would be really nice to have Jim Nance. Even if it's just for the Masters tournament in that game, getting Jim Nance to do that. But we can talk about broadcasting and stuff like that in presentation again, that's going to be a topic likely of another episode. But ultimately, before we switch topics, do you have anything else you can think of on this? Or where do you think these go based on the information we currently have?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, like, I feel like the biggest thing that works against ESPN at this point is if I think about a specific sport and the personalities around that sport, I don't think I can name a personality who's currently at ESPN. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of the big thing that ESPN has going against it, is that like everything is competing with ESPN now, and all of those sports commentators and sports personalities can be spread out so far apart that like ESPN doesn't really have the same like it doesn't have the same like negotiating power that it had maybe 5 or 6 years ago when it was still the biggest like collection of people who talked about sports. So like I do think I still believe that like if ESPN's gonna be like the broadcast package for an EA game, especially, it's probably gonna be one of the upcoming EA sports games. Yeah, one of the non-tenured EA sports games, one of the non-yearly ones.
I could see that being a big get for the ESPN, for EA Sports College Football. That could be a huge coup for them.
Because, and again, like, this is all anecdotal because this is all personal, but like that one of the few things where like I think about specifically ESPN's coverage is still college sports. So like
100%.
So yeah, I think college football is I think if ESPN's going to get locked down one of these, it's probably EA Sports College Football. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's just so many non-ESPN options that like if you're ESPN, how do you even like you have less and less to leverage now. Yep. And the more that time goes on. So
Sports Video Game Daily, Mel Kiper from Madden Draft. That would be cool. You hear Mel Kiper's analysis of your draft pick in Madden. Like, this guy was bad. Bad. And then you got Jack coming in with the classic, who the hell is Mel Kiper? If no one's seen that clip of the old Indianapolis Colts GM going off on Mel Kiper because they didn't take Trent Dilfer, Super Bowl champion Trent Dilfer, mind you, but because they didn't take a franchise quarterback with Trent Dilfer, you need to go and YouTube this clip. It is one of the funniest funniest things you'll watch from the mid-90s ESPN.
It's required watching if you grow up in Indiana. I bet. Very good.
I bet. Speaking of Indiana, before we move on, Pacers.
Let's go.
Pacers Gaming, NBA 2K.
Go.
League,
I told you.
Night, and then they swoop Knicks Gaming, and I'm just like, Jake.
All you have to do is believe, my friend.
If the Pacers win the chance,
I'm excited.
If they win the 2K League title, we have to go back to our preview episode.
I know.
Be like, this guy over here.
I'm excited.
All right. Moving on from one major studio to another. NFL 2K. Now, we learned it was delayed. They announced it last year or earlier this year, putting out an update that they were still shooting for a 2021 release. Some skeptics said that was a nothing video, but we win. And that was the plan. They wanted it out for this season. The problem then became, we do have an update on one of the delay. As things went on, I've been told the NFL wanted the game out before the season started. That was not going to happen. We were looking at a December launch around, like a holiday season launch, and the NFL felt that was too late in the year to really build up hype and get people excited with the season coming to an end. No one's going to want to play it. They're going to want the new game when the rosters take shape and all this. And the NFL just wanted the game out sooner. So a big reason for the delay was 2K Sports not being able to convince the NFL that let us release it during the season, but in the November holiday season time window. And that kind of bummed me out. I wouldn't have hated people are like kind of, and I wonder if maybe the NFL had EA in their ear a little. This is my speculation. EA's like, no, we don't want them coming in late in the season and getting all of this momentum when we should be selling games around the holiday season. I don't know why EA would be worried, since one's a simulation and the other is purely supposed to be arcade in the case of NFL 2K. But that's why, from what I've been told, a big reason for the delay is that the NFL wanted the game out before the season, and 2K was not going to release a broken product. Marvel only NFL 2K maybe be canceled. It won't be canceled. It's not going to be canceled. This is a multi-million-dollar deal between the NFL and 2K Sports. They're two big conglomerates. A game like that won't be canceled. It just pushed back so 2K can make the game they want.
And the nice thing about this the nice thing about this being new NFL 2K. You got to rewire my brain for other 2K sports games again. The thing about an NFL 2K game is it's not a yearly release right now. It's not even a normal release. So like they can afford to take this time and really work on the game. I do think it's interesting that the NFL put so much pressure on them, given, I guess, maybe well, you know what? Okay. I was gonna really give NFL the benefit of the doubt here, but I don't think that the NFL really necessarily handled the pandemic very well. So maybe they don't understand that the year and a half and counting pandemic was probably pretty hard on a lot of game developers. But it's interesting that they still kind of expected that game to come out. And I'm very surprised that 2K, who released WWE games up until the last 2 years every year, had the sort of wherewithal to decide, hey, maybe we shouldn't. What if we give this one another year, actually, and make sure this one comes out fully cooked? So,
yeah, that's something else we'll get to today. The NFL 2K thing, and good on 2K for saying no. Then again, they are a big enough studio where they can do that. I don't see if NFL is partnering with, say, some indie studio that it would happen.
Hypothetically,
they would never. Unless
you know what?
Studio,
actually,
unless it's a mobile game.
I guess they have. Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I don't see them being like, yeah, okay, sure, fine. But 2K has that pull. So it's kind of interesting, I guess I could say, is my thought on that. So it's not a major update on 2K. Obviously, we'll know more about the game later this year, likely. We'll start getting some teasers, but that's where we're at with this. Before we go on, a reminder that the SGO Press Pass live and in color and in person is brought to you by our good friends at StreamYard. StreamYard is a free and paid subscription or streaming service that allows in-browser setup for your live streams, live chat, shows with comments on air, have people join you. Really quick to get up, really easy to use. You can learn more at StreamYard.com. There, they are the ones presenting the show this evening. Also, if you want to listen to the SGO Press Pass after we record it, and you don't want to hear any of these ads, you don't even want to hear this right here, you can subscribe to SGO Insider at sportsgamersonline.com/insider, where you will get the show ad-free. You'll get exclusive news that you won't find anywhere else. You'll like the NFL 2K delay update, like the ESPN EA negotiations, and like what we're going to talk about next regarding the WWE gaming series, all at SGO Insider. For as little as $1 a month, you can join, and you get to join our Discord. We have special channels on our Discord. Our Discord's open to everybody. sportsgamersonline.com/Discord. But our insiders get special channels. As the new games come out, we provide exclusive tips and tricks and some money plays in certain games to help you get better. We have a growing community. We're only getting things started there on our Discord, so go check it out today. But any help you give us really grows the SGO network as we work to becoming a 24/7 sports gaming news conglomerate. Now, before we get into WWE, Jack Flynn asks, will the new NFL 2K game have real player image likeness? Yes. The deal is with the NFL and NFLPA. The only caveat is that it can't be a simulation-based title, which is what Madden currently owns the exclusive rights to. That was extended for, I believe, another 5 years. But 2K can do whatever they want as long as it's not a simulation-based game on the field. There's nothing that has come out that said they can't do anything like franchise mode and stuff like that off. But the gameplay has to be more on the arcade side of things.
You think they do? You think they do an Airbud clause?
I think it'd be hilarious.
You think there's nothing in the rules that can't say they can't have a whole dynasty mode? It just has to play like an arcade game.
I wouldn't if I'm 2K and I can get away with that. I'm looking for every loophole.
I guess that's true. Yeah, that's fair.
I can. Now, WWE. Another story, like I said, that went up on SGO Insider. This one went up last week. The WWE wants 2K to go back to yearly simulation game releases. This one bothers me. It bothers me a bit, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So I reached out to a few people at WWE itself, and the company is hoping that 2K22 returns to a yearly, signals the return. Oh, hit my mic there. Sorry. Signals a return to yearly releases for the franchise because WWE has that ever-changing nature. And if today proved anything for us WWE fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Of the rosters, the gimmicks, the shows, and sets and things like that. They want it to come out annually again because it'll generate more revenue for all parties involved than a smaller midlife update, whether or not it's paid, would for the studio. 2K, I've learned, is for all intents and purposes on board with that, but it depends how well 2K22 is received. If the launch is like a 2K20 or worse, 2K doesn't want to have games like that launched again because that put a very black eye to their name with their name behind it. A lot of extra work is going into 2K22 in the gameplay and the features. But anything other than a positively reviewed game or received game by fans, more so critics, could lead to major changes within the series and make some changes to the 2K WWE partnership as well if WWE is not happy. But I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You know how I feel about annualized titles. I know how you feel about annualized titles. Before I go off on my rant about this, Jake, I need to collect myself before I start yelling.
I was gonna say, I think this is one of the things I think we both kind of agree on, which is that like the idea of a yearly sports game release makes sense maybe conceptually, because as you said, like especially with the WWE, you've got ever-changing rosters, and that made sense before the age of, you know, add-ons and DLC and patches and stuff like that. Whereas I would almost think now all of these annual sports games are already tweaking their rosters year-round. So it doesn't seem that inconceivable that you couldn't just do a WWE game every 2 years and then just release new characters or new rosters as an update. I will say, and maybe this is a question to you. I'm not sure if this is an impression that you got. Yeah, no, there's so yeah. So just for the audio listeners, Justin Stevens in the chat, which you can potentially in the future watch live on YouTube at Sports Gamers Online's YouTube channel. Justin Stevens in the chat says 2K22 is going to be so out of date on release date. If you don't know, there were a ton of layoffs, pretty high grade layoffs at WWE, like literally today. This morning, this early afternoon.
By the way, this recording is
on a Wednesday.
2nd. Yeah, this is June 2nd. We are recording this Wednesday night.
Yeah, and you know, at the very least, like you got to figure Braun Strowman's probably got a model in the game, right? Like that, like he's not a small name. Like he's a multi-title holder. And so you gotta wonder, like,
was just in the okay. This isn't a wrestling podcast, but I've been holding this in. I can't anymore. All right. I wanted to go on a colleague's site's show tonight, but I can't because we're doing this. Braun Strowman was just in a title match a week ago. Aleister Black just came back to television last week, and then they're like, deuces. Best wishes in your future endeavors. Justin Stevens, yeah, you already brought him up. 2K22 going to be so out of date. Wait until tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm putting an article up that's going to list all of the people that were in WWE 2K20 that won't be in WWE 2K22. And it is a long list. For one reason or another, these people were all fired. Not contract expired. Fired for a company that is making record profits. Okay, I'm done. They want to go back to yearly releases. I think it's dumb. I when I had this on the task for the show today, I wasn't expecting the news that came out today that would get me even more mad at this company than I already am as a fan. and maybe I should have just skipped it for today.
No, I think it's fine.
But I think everybody in the chat is having a blast at watching this bald, bearded guy lose his shit.
The thing is,
over
like, there's
a men's soap opera.
There's a chance that they don't get to see you turn bright red live if we record next week and we don't do it live. So
I'm as red as the live thing up here. I'm as red as the thing down here.
Ooh. Did you? So you said you got to speak to sort of people who worked with the World Wrestling Entertainment, right?
if they want to call it entertainment, yes. But yeah.
You know what I mean. WWE.
Yeah.
Did you get the impression that part of this push is maybe because of a year of lost revenue between the pandemic and AEW's sort of ascension?
It has nothing to do with AEW. I can tell you that.
Sure.
Okay. Has nothing to do with them. It is the fact that 2K Battlegrounds did not do as well as they hoped.
That's more what I mean with. I don't mean directly AEW. I mean more like
games in general. Yeah.
Well, no, I just mean
the
like AEW's existence has certainly cut into
100%
to WWE's profit margin, right? Did you get the impression that some of this is like, well, we have a lot more revenue to recoup than we had 2 years ago, 2 years ago, and now like we've got to push for this to come out yearly because we've got to have something else to help us get some of that money back?
A little bit, but WWE is not hurting for money. They make record revenues every time they have a media call, a quarterly call. Excuse me there. They make record revenues. They're printing money, basically. This is more along the lines of they lost the gaming revenue, which is not a lot to begin with, but it's still enough to the wrestlers who are part of the roster get royalties. So their money gets impacted much more than the company. And I think that has a lot to do with that. But it's losing last year. If 2K Battlegrounds did better than what it did, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. Let's put it that way. I think they'd be happy to do 1 year sim, 1 year arcade, 1 year sim, 1 year arcade. 2K would be happy to do 1 year sim, 1 year arcade. But they're okay with going to the annual if 2K22 is a success. Trey Atkins.
It's open.
Trey Atkins, well, the features make gamers very happy. Like match types have been shafted for years. By the way, so mad. Braun is gone. AEW as a champion on their brand now. Yeah, I could follow me. If you want my wrestling thoughts, follow me on Twitter at Mike Straw Media because I have wrestling thoughts, a lot of them, and I can go into about AEW and my thoughts. The match types, I will say this. I can't say a lot. Fans will be happy fans will be about 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 times happier with 2K22 than what they were with 2K20. I can't say anything about like what modes are going to be in it, what features, but I can tell you this dev staff that is in place, the new executive director of the game, they scoured Reddit, YouTube, blogs, social media, and they looked for everything to list on what went wrong with 2K20 and what's gone wrong with the series since they came over to the PS4 and Xbox One. And they want to make it right. They really do want to make it right. They are genuinely determined, from the developers to the motion capture artists to the UI artists. Everyone there is determined to make the best wrestling game they can. This time window they've had to build this game has been fantastic for them. And I think they're going to be happy with the product they put out. It's just a bunch of passionate developers who happen to also be wrestling fans. That's the big thing. They got a lot of wrestling fans now working on this game too, which should make for a better product. So let's put it this way. WWE has been terrible for the past year, 2, 3 years. This might be the best thing going for WWE as a whole is the passion 2K put in this game's building now that they handle it by themselves with Ukes no longer in the picture.
Oh, well, I will say that's a pretty ringing endorsement from you, considering how mad you've been for the rest of this segment. So
it's a ringing endorsement because I don't get mad at developers. Like you can tell they're trying. The company. Okay, we need to change topics because you're gonna set me off again.
Just one last thing to your point, like no developer's trying to make a bad game, right?
No,
like nobody's sitting down and being like, I'm gonna make the worst Canadian football game that Mike Straw's ever played. You know what I mean? Like nobody's sitting down and wants to do that. So yeah, but it helped. But like also, you know, not everybody is developing a game that one, they're passionate about, and two, like that, you know, they're going out to find people who love this sport to help put it together. So that sounds good. That's all good news. So
okay. Speaking of Canadian football and games, Maximum Football. the last topic of today, and then we get into the listener questions, viewer questions. We have a small update. It's not a big one. Maximum Football was canceled. The IP was set to be sold.
We have an episode about this in the podcast feed. If you go to sportsgamersonline.com/podcasts, you can go find it, where we talk to somebody who worked on the Maximum Football game, and we also talk to another indie football game developer. But go ahead.
Yes, great plug. Great plug.
Thank you.
So, David Winter, the founder of Canuck Play, the studio behind Maximum Football, posted a tweet a couple days ago. He hasn't been that active on Twitter, everything going on, obviously. But he did post, quote, "There should be good news regarding the sale of the Maximum Football IP and source code in a couple of weeks. I won't be involved, but there are great things in the works." So, one, that's great that it's likely to be sold. Two, we talked about it in that episode in the archives. We know why it was going to be sold. It's not for the on-field action. It's definitely for the college football dynasty mode they built, because it's a great foundation. It has some great features. But now here comes the fun part. Quick speculation. Where do you think it's an out of nowhere studio, or do you think it's a somewhat known to studio? Do you think it might be a studio that we have covered extensively at SGO?
I'm not, unless you're trying to suggest that this is like a Take-Two scoop. I don't know. I mean, like, I think it would be our conversation earlier about NFL 2K, like, being able to be whatever it wants to be, except for a simulation gameplay football game, now makes me think, like, how funny would it be if 2K scooped up that engine? But I don't think that makes sense for the NFL 2K game. So I don't know. Who do you think? Because I want to hear you've done everything but tell me what I should have guessed here, and I feel foolish for not knowing it. So I want to hear what you got to say.
Now, this is not information like confirmed or anything like that.
This is all speculation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to make sure people know I'm not reporting this is happening, so don't post on Twitter. Mike Straw says Maximum Football, but how cool or unique, I guess, or if Axis Games came out and they're the ones that picked up the IP.
Okay. I
doubt that's what
I feel like what we've done
that'd
here
be
is
so cool.
I feel like what we've done here is created a best case scenario. And so nobody think about this for the next 6 months until somebody says this officially, because I don't want to be disappointed now. But I think you're right now. I do think it would be great if this was like a part in which the two independent football companies that were like trying to play in Madden space, like, all of a sudden we're like making one football game. I do think that would be super interesting. I will say, and we wrote about this podcast a couple months ago. They were on the League Crawler podcast, I believe. Is that right?
Yes.
They were on the developer of Axis Games, whose name I don't remember, and I feel bad.
Danny Jugan.
Danny Jugan did kind of talk about where their focus was going to be, and that it seemed like they feel like they're in a very good place with their dynasty mode specifically, and their like career mode, and their like all of their like staffing sim stuff. They seem like they're pretty solid with. But if they're just picking up this entire dynasty mode engine, this college recruitment engine, where it's going to take a lot of work, I assume, to implement it, but they don't have to build it from scratch. It's totally possible that now they're just like, also, here's this, because we are always trying to add to it. Again, like, I'm not a game developer. I don't know how difficult this is. I always assume it's the hardest thing anybody's ever done, just to be safe. But I wonder if it wouldn't be because they came out and they said our focus is to make the game look better. We understand that when people look at this game, they think, wow, it looks worse. Wow, it doesn't look super good. So like it sounds like that's where they're putting a lot of their effort. But yeah, I wonder if it would take a lot of the weight of development off of their shoulders if they could find an easy way to plug that system in, like code and all.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Sports video games daily. How ironic would it be for two independent football companies to combine and XFL and CFL combine? They pick up the license.
No, I do love this. Speaking of building best case scenarios, I do love this, and I do think that this would be
I think it would be. It'd be really interesting. I know it came out publicly that the XFL before it shuttered was Canuck Play had talked to them about licensing. I don't know how that would have worked. The CFL XFL combination thing weirds me out a bit.
I feel like that rumor's been kind of snuffed for now because I remember that discussion coming up a lot.
Well, it's because it came out. It came directly from both leagues. That's why it was talked about.
Well, I feel like it was like unofficial players unions were really on the front lines, being like they're discussing this merger. There's a possible merger happening.
And then The Rock came out and said, "Yeah, we're talking to him."
Well, and then the CFL came out and was like, "We're the CFL. We're not combining with the XFL. That's crazy." So I feel like the XFL and CFL combination is kind of all over the place right now. I would love to see it, but that's because I'm sickos.
I loved the XFL. The pandemic took that away, and it was upsetting.
Don't even get me started about the AAF. My beautiful child, my Arizona Hotshots, the jersey I never got to buy.
I got so into those football leagues, but I'm a big football fan, so I'm going to watch. I just got so into it. Right. So that's where Maximum Football is. I doubt it's a big studio. I doubt it. But I just hope whatever it is, they find a way to use that off-field code, that dynasty mode source code, because that was really well put together.
Me too. And I would love for that. I would love for that game engine and that license, the CFL license, to meet again.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because I love the idea of an official CFL football game. But yeah. So obviously, I want this to go well and break well for everybody involved. So
now, listener questions. We've been waiting for the end of the episode, and we got a few here. Let's go.
Did we do a call out on Twitter on this one that I need to look at?
No.
Okay. I wasn't sure
if you're here live, you get to do the listener questions. Please be saying NFL, let 2K make simulated football. Marshall, not happening.
I wish we could say that, Marshall. I'm so sorry.
Alejandro Castillo, first dislike. I didn't want to call this out, but Cameron made up a good point.
Shout outs.
Who cares?
Who the hell airs? I know. I agree.
NASCAR 21. I can't scroll that high to past comments, but NASCAR 21 news will be coming very soon. That's all I can say. I can't say literally a word. The Wrestling Code. That is another independent wrestling game. If you haven't been following it, follow them on Twitter at Virtual Basement. We are working on full wiki pages for upcoming sports games on SGO. The Wrestling Code will have some major announcements too on wrestler involvement as well. We're even going to be able to, the hope is I'm working out going to a motion capture session for the game in Queens at the end of the month, which would be really awesome to get some exclusive stuff for SGO Insider and the main site and YouTube. So I can't wait for that one.
We got a question. I don't know how far you can scroll up. We got a question by AJPS12, which is, what are your thoughts on RBI base? Yeah, there we go. What are your thoughts on RBI Baseball 21? Do you guys think MLB Advanced Media should put some real money behind the game and make the game really compete with the show? Thanks. Love your show.
AJPS. First off, thank you for watching and listening. 2, RBI Baseball 21, in my review, it's bad.
I was going to say, when you started that way, I was worried about what you're going to say next.
It's bad. MLB Advanced Media should stop this series now. Especially, so it's an arcade baseball title. that has some sim element. It's a simcade title, or what they're going for is a simcade title. You know, with 145 mile an hour curveballs that shoot up to the sky. EA acquired Metalhead Software. EA is no doubt talking to Major League Baseball about getting licensing. EA is no doubt going to try and put MLB licensing in Super Mega Baseball's studio, or Super Mega Baseball's game. There's no doubt. If that happens, RBI Baseball is DOA. End of story. Pack it up, go home, don't exist. You got anything?
I was just gonna say. Well, I didn't know. I couldn't tell you were done.
I can be done,
but I was just gonna say to your point of pitchers throwing impossible curveballs. Apparently, they're doing that right now anyway with a mixture of sunscreen and resin. So who knows? Maybe it's super realistic. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know that a future Super Mega Baseball competes with the show because I don't think that's the goal of that game, even with EA money. But I think that maybe you are correct on like. I feel like RBI Baseball 22's got to look real good, got to feel really good, or else like that's gonna become a competitive space fast. So
100%. Marvel only. F1 2021 new gameplay. Go to sportsgamersonline.com. Our own Daniel Bates did a great write-up of what EA or Codemasters announced with some of the new features coming to this game. Some of the things like the two-player career mode, which you could start on different teams. You can start on the same team. You can start on different teams and end up on the same team. I can't wait to do this. I hope we can do it. I think Jake and I would have a blast doing that, to be honest. There's no doubt it'd be fun to do that.
Oh, yeah. That would be
F1 2021. Join me and we do a play along of a career mode.
Yeah, sure. I'm down. I think we've talked
preview. We didn't get a preview copy of the game this year. We will get our review copy, but we weren't one of the ones picked for preview edition because reasons I can't get into or won't get into. It happens sometimes.
I will say, like the gameplay. We've kind of talked about a lot of what they showed here. We talked about, like you said, the new career modes with the multiplayer stuff. And we were both pretty positive on that. I will say, like, the damage stuff doesn't like the realistic crash damage doesn't necessarily do something for me, but it looks very good. Like, it looks cool. And I know there's an entire audience of people who are like more into racing than I am, who are probably really going to enjoy that. Yeah. That's kind of my impressions of the gameplay. It looks gorgeous, but like so did F1 2020. So, it's good that they're going up.
Oh, it was our game of the year last year. And if anything's this based on everything, it might repeat for the third straight year. NHL 22 on PC, Matthew Karras, blink twice if it's happening. I can wink twice. They want it to happen. And by they, I mean the NHL. With the game likely going to Frostbite this year and set to be announced probably usually it's announced around the NHL awards in June, but it's going to be announced later this year. Maybe at EA Play they make the first announcement in July, but NHL wants it on PC because there's that market that they've seen the NFL get back with Madden, and I can see them really pushing for it. Cue the turn up, digging the link poster. This is an an original airbrushed piece that my wife got commissioned for me, and it will stay there forever until I move to the basement, and then it'll still be behind me.
It's not really in the spirit of listener questions, but if you do say something cool about Mike or the stuff in Mike's room, you will get shown on stream. So.
100%. And if you say something, if you appreciate Jake's shirt, you'll also get there because Underdog is the greatest. Marvel only did have another question. NBA Live 22 coming this year. They haven't posted a thing since they said, we'll be back when we have an update. That was October 29th, 2019. It's almost been a year. It's been a year and a half. We haven't seen anything. They're so focused on NBA Live Mobile, which maybe with the 2K League and things like that, they should just stay that way. So I can't say anything because I don't know anything. I personally think it's dead. At least main console version. Let's see. Any WWE 2K news? We talked about that. Maurice Holloway, no 11 on 11 for the NFL 2K. I don't know. They could have 11 on 11, but I wouldn't be surprised to see 7 on 7 like NFL Street style, to be honest.
Yeah, I was interested in that too, because I wonder how much, like, I wonder what. I have always been curious, and I don't know. I wish I had someone to talk to about this. I've always been curious about what it means, what like the exclusive rights to simulation football literally means. Like, I'd love to see under the hood of that agreement and see if 11 on 11 is part of that or not. Like
100%.
Like, is playbooks, like, how much is, like, are certain playbooks part of that? Like, are certain formations part of that? Like,
yeah. We'll get to a couple more. Marvel only, again, when does the AW game come out? They wanted it. We're looking at next year. I want to say they're shooting for around Double or Nothing 2022. But it wouldn't surprise me to see it pushed to All Out. They want to release it around one of their pay-per-views. Their 4 pay-per-views, but their two biggest shows are All Out and Double or Nothing. So my guess is that we'll get the release around one of those 2 shows next year. But I do expect news around All Out this year with like another first look at some features and gameplay and things like that. We'll go. We got 2 more. AJPS, thank you for answering the question. I know they put out a patch, but for me, don't release a game and give us an embargo on reviewing it when the game's broken and you have to patch to fix one of the worst features in the game. Maurice Holloway, Frostbite. Yeah, if you go to our YouTube and search Frostbite Engine, I have a news story on there. It's about 5 minutes long on why the Frostbite Engine was the worst thing to happen to EA Sports games. Give me the percentage. We got 2 more questions we'll get to. Okay, Justin Stevens. Yeah. Give me a percentage chance we see Grand Slam Tennis 3 or Top Spin 5 in the near future. I will say above 50 for a Top Spin. But I'm not going to – I can't go much above 50. 50-50 is probably a better option. AO Tennis and Tennis World Tour, they're trying to really fill up that space. And X Burke, is the upcoming boxing game going to run 60 FPS on Series X? Can't recall from your videos. They want it to. They're still working on that. The frame rate is something they're really trying to build in. Do you have anything on this? Jake has been covering ESBC pretty much exclusively for us at SGO because he's always around and working when they drop their updates at 6 at night.
We have a running bit where I am a correspondent of whatever game we're gonna talk about for the week, but I am kind of an ESBC correspondent. I will say that their current release plan is that the game will release first on PC in early access, then will come to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So I would say I'm assuming they're going to want it to run 60 FPS on Series X. I will say that as far as I know, the footage that they're releasing of this game is all entirely on PC, and that their next gen release plans are all further out than their, I guess I always want to say current gen and next gen, but I guess it's previous gen now. Their current plans are to release the game on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So I don't know how much info. I don't know when we'll start getting info of how these systems will look on the Series X and the PlayStation 5. So,
and we'll get to one more. HAPS. Any word on the new sports games 2K is working on? 7 games. So the games are that they're working on that we know of: NFL 2K. And this is not knowing when they come out, but NFL 2K, WWE 2K, NBA 2K, PGA Tour 2K, another NBA Playgrounds, likely another NBA or WWE Battlegrounds.
Was Topspin a 2K game?
Yes, it was. And that's why I think it's 50-50 because I don't know what that 7th could be, and no one really does. They're very tight-lipped about that right now.
It's the one I will say. It's now that like college football and golf are back on the table, tennis is really the only one that nobody wants to touch, or that EA and 2K don't want to touch.
Triple H.
NACON, yeah, like NACON. Who if you're not familiar with NACON, NACON is a European studio that tends to get a lot of the European sports. They do rugby. They do
Royal Rally Racing, which their
Rally
WRC
Racing.
series is fantastic.
Yeah. And they've been doing a tennis series. That's all right. But yeah, that's kind of, I'm curious as to when EA or 2K decides like, it's tennis time again. And I'm curious as to like, what about tennis licensing is stopping them from like doing that?
But yeah, until we know, we don't know. Like I report on what I hear. We report on what I hear at SGO all day, every day. SportsGamersOnline.com. Thank you for tuning into this live edition of the SGO Press Pass. If you missed it, you can always watch it again on demand or check it out in the audio archives, sportsgamersonline.com/podcast. Subscribe there. Give us those reviews. Leave us a 5-star rating. Leave a like on this video. It really helps us with our reach and grow the channel and make sure YouTube still likes us so this gets out to more people. If you want to see more of these, if you want us to do these live every week, let us know. Because the more demand we have, the more likely we are to do it. Today was a great interaction, guys. Thank you again very much.
Yeah,
Jake,
thank you.
You can find us on social media at Mike Struck Media on all of the social medias, at TH3 Composer on Twitter, and we're assuming all the social medias for Jake, whatever he's on.
I try not to be on the internet, but I have to be on Twitter. So
yeah, I'm kind of the same way. But our tags are on the screen. You can follow Sports Gamers Online at Sports Gamers on Twitter, at Sports Gamers Online everywhere else. Until next time, this has been the SGO Press Pass. For Jake, I'm Mike. We're out.
Later, y'all.